All right. All right, everyone. Thank you for attending the District of Brown Deer School Board meeting. I call this meeting to order at 6:05 p.m. Verification of public notice. The meeting was publicly noticed. Approval of a quorum. We have all 7 board members in attendance. Approval of the agenda. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved, Dr. Beto.
All right, thank you, Ms. Ashley. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you very much, Ms. Zick. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor with raised hand and or aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries unanimously 7-0. And let's go on to our mission statement. Together with our families and community, we will inspire students to be passionate learners, creative thinkers, and innovative leaders who enrich our world. All right, before we get ready to get started, just a couple of housekeeping notices. When we get down to public comment, remember those are for comments, not questions. And if you do have one, please put it in the chat and Mr. Linsky will be monitoring the chat for that. So again, if you do have a public comment, please put that into our chat box and Mr. Linsky will monitor the chat and then be able to have the comments addressed when it comes to that portion in our program. All right, so now let's move on to our district communication, our district showcase. Dr. Kelsey Brown.
Good evening, Dr. Beto and our esteemed board members. We are excited this evening to bring to you our district showcase. First, we will begin with our DECA winners. We had a group of students who traveled to Racine as they would so kindly correct us, Racine on December 18th for a DECA competition. Here with us tonight, we have our DECA team, along with our DECA advisor, Dana Rosman, who did to highlight the outstanding job they did at the December meet. And I am proud to be able to say I was able to be a judge after that morning, actually. However, as a judge, you're unable to judge your own students. So all of them would have been first place in my eyes. But it was a great opportunity to watch students from all across the state come and compete. Our team worked extremely hard and it showed with the final results from the competition. So at this time, I would like to announce the placement of our students, some of whom are with us this evening. Once I end with the medal winners, Ms. Rosamond, I will ask you to say a few words and then also ask a few of our students to also say a few words about their experience. Yes, Ms. Callie, I see you. All right, here we go. So first place overall, we have Marshawn Taylor. The topic was Principles of Business Management and Administration. First place overall also goes to Mariana Taylor, Principles of Marketing. Role play medal went to Ivy Ezekiel, Business Finance Services. A role play medal went to Callie McGlowski, Principles of Marketing. Test medal, Aubrey Stringfellow. The topic at that Principles of Marketing. A test medal went to Naomi Rakowski, Principles of Hospitality and Tourism. And also qualifying Chelsea Korang and Sakumbi Ayatunde, otherwise known as Elizabeth. I know we have several members of our DECA team with us tonight. So if you're on, families, please wave so we can see you. We are so proud of all of you for representing Brown Deer High School. You are truly amazing, emerging leaders, and good luck at the state competition in February. And so at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Dana Rosman, and then hopefully a few of our students will share what their experiences were like in Racine on December 18th.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dana Rosman. If you don't know, I'm the proud advisor of Brown Deer DECA. Our students are resilient, fearless, emerging leaders. They take on We do not offer DECA as a class at this time. So these students have autonomously learned and became experts in their field. Not only did they do that, they were required, they had to take a test that was 100 questions, which the material they learned on their own. Then they had to do 2 role plays. So there was 100 points for each. And they had to solve in 10 minutes and present a solution to a real life problem. These students are imaginative, creative, and very, very smart. I am lucky to know them all.
All right, thank you, Ms. Rosman. Thank you for the time that you spend with our students. And despite the fact that we do not have a DECA class, we were still able to compete and qualify at a level like no other. So that makes us very proud as it relates to the work that our students have put in. I see Mariana and I see Callie on. And if I'm missing anyone, please speak up. Would you like to share what your experiences were like as it relates to the competition on December 18th?
Okay, my mom and dad have forced me to talk. So, I mean, I was really nervous because it was like, we thought it was gonna be really hard because we were gonna talk to people we didn't know and solve problems. We didn't really like prepare like specific issues that the role plays were on. So it was kind of like improv on the spot. So of course we were nervous, and the test was a bunch of questions that we didn't really know, but we tried our best. And it was a new experience, and I definitely learned a bunch of stuff, and it was fun, and I was proud of myself for the scores I got. So it was pretty good, in my opinion.
All right, thank you, Callie. Let's give Callie a round of applause. I see Mariana, and then after Mariana, why don't we have Aubrey? Thank you for the note in the chat, Aubrey. Thank you. Mariana?
So I'm actually here with my brother too. So, oh no. Okay. My experience was really great. We all practiced really hard for the competition. And I feel, because I also met like some other people there too. So that was great. I got to connect with a lot of other DECA members. I'm really proud of myself. It was challenging, but I think we all like overcame the challenge really well. And I think it was a really fun experience, and I look forward to state.
Marshawn, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I think not only the competition has been very engaging for us, but also the different people we've had at the school, like Professor or Dr. Cherry, who came from UW Green Bay. He gave us a lot of good advice on financial information. And then Wisconsin Business World, I think they gave us a lot of good information on how we can be entrepreneurs.
All right, thank you, Marshawn. And Aubrey.
They've said most of what I would say, but yeah, DECA, it has allowed us to learn a lot of new things we wouldn't normally learn, especially as it's not a class. Like, we're learning skills we'll use later on in life. And like the competitions, they were scary at first, but once you did it, you just learned a lot of stuff. Like, for example, for the marketing, we had to stop a salmonella outbreak. That's not something students would normally learn about. So us learning about situations like that, it's really helpful. We could use it in the future in our lives a lot. So I feel like just DECA itself is a very engaging opportunity that I'm thankful that I can be a part of, because I learn new things every day and meet new people.
Thank you, Aubrey. And I believe we have Elizabeth on the call with us this evening. Elizabeth, would you like to share your experience?
DECA was a new experience for me, and being able to go to the competition and meet new people was really enlightening, and also opened my mind to a lot of things that I could do in the future. So I'm really thankful for that.
Oh, thank you. All right, well, let's give all of our amazing students a great round of applause. Thank you all so very much, and keep up the good work. And Ms. Rosamond, again, thank you for all that you have poured into our students for them to be the amazing people that they are. So thank you so much.
Dr. Kelsey Brown, I'd like to be able, on behalf of the board, Ms. Rosman, our young people, we are so proud of you. I mean, if you could see under this mask right now, each and every board member has a giant smile on their faces right now because of the work, the dedication, the things that you young people are doing, and definitely making Brown Deer proud. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing, and continue on. And you know what? Good luck in state. I know you'll represent Brown Deer well, and let's come home with some gold.
Thank you, everyone. And next up, we have a recognition of 2 female wrestlers that we have in the Brown Deer School District. Yes. So in our winter season regarding athletics, wrestling is dominating the mat this year. Out of a soaring season, we would like to recognize Sharmia and Olivia, who will be wrestling in the first WIAA state tournament, along with our coach, Julian Gladney, all 3 of whom are in attendance with us tonight. You guys wave so we see which block you're in, or square, if you will. Not only did both young ladies qualify for state, but both of them have ranked in the top 10 in their respective weight class. Sharmia ranked 3rd and Olivia ranked 9th. Last weekend at the state finals in Wausau, Wisconsin, Sharmia placed 3rd and Olivia placed 6th in the female division. Sharmia and Olivia, we encourage you all to continue to be the powerhouses that we expect you all to be. And we thank you for representing Brown Deer High School and representing us well. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. McGregory, our K-12 Athletics and Activities Director, who will then turn it over to Mr. Gladney, who will then give an opportunity for our young ladies to say a few words as well.
This is so awesome. Coach Gladney approached me about wanting to be the coach here and starting back up the wrestling program. So it's really super exciting to see the progress that we have made, to have a full team this year, and then to see these young ladies come in and do their thing. Super proud of them as well. And so I don't want to take too many kudos because all I did was get out the way, listen to what he was saying, lay the foundation, and get out the way and let Coach Gladney do his thing. And it's just super exciting to see as an athletic director, not only the wrestling, but Dana Rosman with DECA as well. I'm very proud of all the kids and what they're doing so far in this school year. So Coach Gladney, it's your world.
Had to unmute myself. Okay. So before we start, I just want to say Gerald does have a big role in this, okay? Because I was in Milwaukee coaching at Washington, and I saw that Brown Deer had a co-op with Vincent, and he wanted to get out of that co-op. So I asked him, could I come over and coach Vincent 1 year and then split off from Vincent and then come to Brown Deer? And he said, okay. But the most important part of it is support. In wrestling, wrestling is one of those sports where there's not a lot of fans that come out and watch it because it's a special sport. It's a combat sport. So in order to come out and watch it, it's a little technical at sometimes. But to have the support of the school system is really important because there's a lot of programs out there that don't have the support that we have, that we've had in the last 3 years. So I want to thank Gerald for that. And our program has grown just exponentially in the last year. We started the program 3 years ago. We only had 3 wrestlers. And then the next year, we got up to about 5 or 6, but then COVID hit the next year. So we ended the season last year with like 4 wrestlers. We had a really robust youth season. We added middle school this year to our teams. And this year, it's just growing like wildfire. And these 2 girls are examples of, you know, what this program can do. Now, the girls in wrestling is one of the fastest growing segments of the sport that's going on right now. There are full teams of girls that are competing. And just this year was the first year ever to have a all-girl WIAA tournament. So there's a lot more tournaments that are going to be going on. These girls are going to be participating in it. For them to wrestle with boys, it said that wrestling is a boys' sport. No, it's not. It's not. These girls are champions, and they're treasures. They come into the wrestling room and they compete, and that's all we ask. They're good students. We talk to them about their grades and how sports is hand in hand with your academics, and they prove it every day. So that's all I have. So if you have any questions, or you ladies want to say something about your experience, Sharmia? Sharmia, I'm sorry.
So my experience with wrestling, so far I've liked it. I didn't really know how into I was gonna be with it, because at first I was doing basketball, and then I heard that Olivia was coming out to wrestle. So I was like, after practice, I wanted to come and see what wrestling was about and all that. And I ended up liking it, and I ended up choosing wrestling over basketball, even though basketball was my main sport at first. And then I changed over to wrestling, and I've learned so many things in wrestling. It's really like about your mindset and how hard you want to work. So yes, so far I've been doing very good, and I'm so proud of myself, because I really didn't think that I will make it this far, because how small I am. But once I learned that there are weight classes and you go against the same weight as you, it was like it changed my mindset in a way that I started to get more motivation to start doing what I'm doing now. So yeah.
Okay.
My experience coming out to wrestling, it was started like last year with football, but then I never came out because it was during youth season, which but I'm happy that I did this year, because the experience been crazy but really fun with the whole entire team, because we're all a bunch of crazy little kids, but we all have fun. And wrestling boys, since like the past 2 weeks, 2 tournaments I've had was against guys doing the JV state tournament. It was not easy, but it propelled me more going against girls that have more experience, and it was really good and fun to do. So I enjoyed it, and I'm happy that I came out here. I'm happy to come out here, and I got you out here, so I'm happy about that.
All right. Okay.
All right, let's give our amazing students a round of applause.
All right.
Oh, and I definitely have to jump in, because you know what? These ladies are definitely brown deer strong. I shook both of their hands before they went to the back, and I was like, okay, I can see the reason why they're sitting there in place. Ladies, we are so proud of you. Brown deer, that gives us the true meaning of brown deer strong. Ladies, we are so proud of you. Coach Gladney, thank you so much for what you're doing and getting them there. Gerald, goes without saying, hey, we appreciate everything that you guys are doing, and man, we love it. Thank you.
Can I say one more thing? This next Wednesday, we go against Milwaukee Lutheran, and it's our last home meet. Okay, it's gonna be next Wednesday, 7 o'clock in the middle school gym. Right now, where we stand as a team, we went from last year, we were in last place in our division, last place in the conference. This year, we're in second place in our division. So we're working hard. So please come out and watch us. Next week, Wednesday, we're going against Milwaukee Lutheran.
All right. Again, thank you.
Okay.
All right. Let's go on now to our district administrator's report. Dr. Kelsey Brown.
Thank you again, Dr. Beadle. Just a few updates from district administrator. We always have a lot going on every day, including 7 days, to be very honest. But just a few updates. Dr. Garrison and I met with a representative from Vector Solution a couple of weeks ago regarding safe schools training and another way to look at continuing our equity work. So we're just in a trial run with that. but we're still continuing to explore professional development in that area. We also met with a representative from the Department of Justice who was interested in coming in to speak to our students regarding careers in the area of justice beyond police, being on the police force. So just trying to expand our students' horizons in that area. And so we are looking forward to that coming up very soon. I also participated or engaged in the Ed Foundation meeting, which takes place monthly. President Montgomery and I met regarding information around Park and Rec. The pandemic debriefings continue with the North Shore Health Department regarding our continued stance with navigating COVID. Our weekly meetings with the principals took place. I also engaged in a joint review board meeting with the village. Graduation planning took place, and also would like to share with the board that I have an individual who will be shadowing me. She's an aspiring superintendent who will be interning with me she needs to secure 150 hours in order to secure her superintendent's license. Her name is Dr. Precious Washington, and she'll be here with me mostly every Friday, shadowing me as a superintendent, as well as some of the other cabinet members as well. In addition to that, last week I attended the WASB conference and was able to engage in some workshops and seminars around board and superintendent relations, information, superintendent evaluation, listening sessions, and also participated in the Closing the Achievement Gap Executive Committee meeting. And with that being said, there's so much more, but I will leave it right there. But with that being said, I'd like to thank all of our board members who attended WASB last week at the Wisconsin Center. Brown Deer was well represented, so thank you. And if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
Any questions for Dr. Kelsey Brown? All right, thank you very much. Let's go on to our next item is our principal's updates. All right, Dr. Kelsey Brown, you can have them go in whatever order you would like.
Let's start with elementary school. Mr. Griffin.
Good evening, board. Good evening, all of our guests as well. We're still looking to staff certain positions within our school. We're looking, working to fill the gifted and talented coordinator position. We're looking for about one special education teacher still, a long-term building sub. We were fortunate to have one of our student teachers take over as a long-term sub for our first grade position. So we're very happy about that, growing our teaching pipeline through our own school. When it comes to meetings, we haven't had any meetings for the month of January, but our PLCs will start again on January 31st. As far as it goes for the SEL and culture, just a thank you to everyone at BDE that has gone above and beyond during this time period, whether it's picking up an additional class, filling in for another person, helping on that recess duty. We're all really all hands on deck. Our first week back, I believe I was a FIAD teacher with Mr. Hanson and Mr. Noble and Ms. Yeager for about a week to just make sure that we're all collaborating together to ensure high levels of structure within our school. Report cards will be coming out the next couple of days. So teachers are finalizing those with the comments. We're also having conversations around the alignment of our instructional practices and the grading in regards to reporting that we're giving. We're emphasizing the use of Dreambox and RAS Kids, and then moving forward with the implementation of Calkins and HD phonics programs that were started last year.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin. Any questions for Mr. Griffin? All right, we can move on to Ms. Pitchford at the middle school.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has truly supported the middle school, my principal mates, all the board, Superintendent Dr. Griffin, everyone has been super supportive. It has been a difficult time with middle school over the last couple of weeks. I know it was a difficult decision as far as us having to move to virtual learning for those 8 days. But during that time, it leads us into our staffing. We have been able to secure 6 teachers who have accepted and are already started teaching. At the middle school, we have someone for 6th grade math and science, 8th grade science, 8th grade social studies, band and music, along with 2 special ed teachers. We are still looking for a Spanish teacher and an educational assistant. But we were fortunate, one of these people was a teachers on call teacher. So we're super excited about that. She had been in the building previously, subbing in classes, and we observed her and noticed her potential. And so it's great, just like Mr. Griffin was saying, just to be able to grow from within. As far as meeting updates, all of our instructional teams and PLC meetings will start back in February. We have still continued with our SST grade level meetings, which are specifically around social and emotional supports, because as we know, during this time, the students being in and out of the building, they still do need to have had those grade level meetings take place during teacher prep times, which they are very, very happy that they have their preps back again because we have additional staffing. As far as SEL and culture, we actually held an all-school virtual assembly today, which actually went off really well. It was, we did it over Zoom and shared the link with all the teachers, and then they just shared the slide deck in their classrooms. And so Mr. Henderson and I were able to talk to the entire school at the same time, just around our rules, expectations, and celebrations, which are including our PBIS incentives. Our last one was our winter formal in December. We had about 290 participants. It was phenomenal to see how many students actually took that formal part really seriously. And we had prom type dresses and heels and suits, but it was great to see the students dressed up and they had a great time. Our next incentive was tentatively set for February 17th around positive attendance and behavior. It will be our Pajama Jam because that will also be during the week of our Reading Spirit Week. We are planning those ELA and Math Spirit Weeks just to continue to celebrate our learning. We all know there are some great things happening even in the midst of these different and difficult times. And so we want to continue to celebrate those students and continue to bring that joy of academics and learning into the school building. As far as our academics, like I mentioned previously, we did have to shift to virtual learning for those 8 days. We started back in person yesterday. And our reading, we are going to our Battle of the Books, which is kind of happening now. Students and staff teams should be reading their books so we can have that battle at the end of February. And our Spirit Week, our Reading Spirit Week is coming up the week of February 14th, and it's ending on February 17th with an all-school read-in. And so kids will be able to bring their blankets, they're dressed in their pajamas and stuffed animals, and we're just going to have a great time just reading whatever they choose to read during that time. We are preparing to add our winter Fastbridge assessment in math and ELA. We pushed it back because of that virtual learning. So that will take place the week of January 31st. And we've already talked to the entire staff about that and the protocols and supports that are needed just to do those assessments. We had not had a winter assessment before. It was previously just fall and spring, but we really wanted to capture that data mid-year so we can check in on our progress and to continue planning for upcoming instruction. And we're continuing to meet with Andy Hayes just to continue to solidify that forward testing schedule and what that will look like so we can best support our students. These are the middle school updates.
All right, board members, any questions for middle school? All right, thank you very much. Dr.
And
Kelsey Brown?
yes, and last but not least, Ms. Brown at the high school.
Good evening, everyone. We have a lot of exciting things. You heard about 2 of the exciting things at the high school, but we have a lot of different exciting things coming up at the high school. Starting with our staffing updates, we are still in search of a cross-categorical special education teacher, and because of a promotion, we also are in need of a social studies teacher. We have a science opening as well. However, we do have a potential candidate that has gone through the interview process, and we are hoping that we can get a science teacher hire out of that interview. So the staffing looks good. We look like we're in good shape right now. And so if we could just find a special education teacher, the high school will be fully staffed. As far as our meetings, if we look at EE, Ms. Prost is really good at organizing us and getting us a calendar going. So we have a calendar of when we are going to conduct observations for the next several weeks. We have divided or designated time to do either it's her morning to do observations or my morning, and then we alternate. So we see teachers at different times because Dr. Garrison has definitely put a charge in front of us to be in classrooms more, to give that feedback very quickly. So we have made a schedule so we can get those things accomplished. We also took a break from our PLCs because there was a district guidance to support all of the subbing that teachers will need to do in order to cover some of our absences with the high number of COVID cases. Not necessarily with our staff, but just, other family members if people were sick, but just to make sure that we had everything covered and teachers also had ample time to plan. So we stopped our morning meetings, but we will resume them starting our first week in February. We are definitely going to continue our work with the ASW tool. Our teachers were really getting down the process of looking at exactly which standards are they teaching, how are they identifying what standards students know and are able to do very well, what should we do when students need reinforcement, and just really identifying what does a proficient student look like at this standard. And when teachers are able to articulate that, I was really impressed because I said, if you can't articulate it, you won't be able to teach it. And so them really just starting that conversation about what does proficiency look like at different levels is really going to improve their instructional practices. We also have our department chairs, which is not necessarily something new for the high school, but it had gone away for a couple years. And I asked Dr. Brown if we could bring back department chairs. This year, our structure for department chairs is not the true instructional leaders that we would like for it to be, because we are in a transition. We are building department chairs as instructional leaders. So I did talk with them. We know that we're in the building stage, but we do have some roles and responsibilities that they are looking forward to taking on in the very near future as we begin our next school year. For our SEL, our high school teachers, like I said, are absolutely amazing. I know subbing sometimes during your preps is not always the best thing because they want to spend as much time as they can preparing for their courses, but they have just been absolutely accommodating to any requests that we have given them for subbing. And I cannot say how proud, how happy I am to be part of a staff that can know like how to come together and really support each other. So high school staff definitely rocks. Our student council, I'm very proud of our students as well. They really step up. Our student council came to me and said, can we plan an incentive day for the students that are doing the right things at Brown Deer High School? I said, wow, yes, of course you can. So we have student council planning an incentive day for students. We have our Black Student Union planning our Black History program, which is scheduled for February 25th. And then the students came to me one more time and said, Ms. Brown, can we bring back a talent show, or can we have a talent show? I said, why not? I said, if you plan it, we can do it. So right now they are also in the process of planning a talent show, which is scheduled for March 17th. In the area of academics, we are always preparing our students for their post-secondary plans. One thing that we're adding to their schedules for second semester as a pilot is that all students will have access to IXL. They are actually taking this for credit, so there are required times for grades 9 through 11 to participate in the program. Our seniors will have access to the program, but they do not necessarily have the requirement as the 9th through 12th, 9th through 11th grade students. We have started our ACT prep. We already have 2 sessions, and we're continuing with our evening ACT preps from 3:30 to 5:30. I am very impressed by our young people who have jobs, sports, other commitments, and they still have found time to come to ACT prep in the evening. So very, very proud of our students. And this is course selection time and planning for our 22nd, 23rd school year. So I'm working with our Director of Teaching and Learning, Dr. Garrison. I'm working with our counselors to know what we've done in the past. Is there anything that we need to change? So we are definitely on our way to finalizing our course selection list for next year and making sure that we have solidified our career pathways at Brown Deer High School. And that is the Brown Deer High School update.
All right, thank you. Board members, any questions for the high school? I do have one. The Black History Program is February 25th at what time?
Let me grab my notebook. Our Black Student Union, all they told me is that they need 45 minutes and they were going to get back to me with the exact time of when they wanted to hold it. I think they were looking for a time in the morning, but they haven't given me the exact time. But they did give me the date. But we will get that information out to you. So if the board members would like to come and also our cabinet, you will be able to come and watch our wonderful program.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Brown.
Thank you.
All right, board members, any other questions? All right, thank you very much for the updates. All right, let's go on to our COVID-19 update. Dr. Kelsey Brown.
Good evening again, board members. Quick COVID update is the latest change regarding COVID-19 here in the Brown Deer School District is effective yesterday. We went to the 5-day isolation and quarantine period for our staff. So that was effective January 24th. We will move to the 5-day for our students beginning January 31st. Ms. Farrington needed a window of time in between moving staff and then moving students to be able to prepare for that transition. We did have a successful vaccination clinic a couple Saturdays ago at the elementary school. We are continuing to work with Erica Sinclair from Health Connections to explore the possibility of additional vaccination clinics, which could potentially include testing as well. So there's some paperwork that needs to be completed for the testing aspect of this. And so we are continuing to engage in this discussion as a COVID task force to make sure that makes sense for what we're trying to do here in the Brown Deer School District as it relates to keeping our kids in school. That has been our ultimate goal from the beginning. And we continue to remain steadfast as it relates to keeping our students in school regarding in-person learning. The dashboard is still being updated on the district-wide website under the topic COVID-19. And finally, I'd like to inform the board that we did hire an additional nurse using our ESSER dollars to help us with contact tracing and then any other medically related issues or concerns that we have as it relates to meeting the needs of our kids who have medical needs, not necessarily related to COVID. And that is my COVID-19 update. Are there any questions?
Board members, questions in relationship to our COVID-19 update for Dr. Kelsey Brown and or Ms. Smytska or Ms. Farrington? Yes, Ms. Peterson.
Dr. Brown, with the nurse that we hired with the ESSER dollars, how long are we able to keep that nurse in place?
Right now, the projection is until the end of this school year for the rest of this semester. And then we will explore what that may need to look like as we move forward in the fall semester and the upcoming school year. Hopefully COVID will be gone, but we all know that we all know what the stance is around COVID. Looks like we're gonna have to figure out how to live with this. And so right now it's to the end of the semester.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking.
Any other questions, board members? All right, thank you very much. Next, let's go on to our public comments. Ms. Zielinski, do we have any public comments at this time?
No, nothing has come in.
All right, we will, as we usually do, we will give this another minute or so. If we do have any individuals that are in the audience participating, if they have any comments that they would like to make. For me, my comments are, you know what, I am so proud of our students and just some of the things that have just been said in our district communication, our district showcase. I'm so proud of our students. I'm so proud of our teachers that work with our students to be able to do some of these different things. It truly shows that, you know, the not only the commitment, but how our school culture and climate is actually growing in relationship to being able to do that. You could tell just how proud those students were of their accomplishments, as well as the teachers that were actually helping either coach them or working with them to be able to, you know, to meet those challenges and stuff like that. You know, for me, and I'm just speaking for myself as a member of the board, those are the things that make me so proud to be able to serve the district and do the things that I do in order to make sure that, you know, that these different things are happening and these children are able to experience this, be exposed to different things, and just that love and commitment and stuff. So I truly appreciate it. And every time I hear stuff like that or whatever, I always bring a giant smile to my face. So with that being said, Ms. Zielinski, any comments?
Yes, one has come in.
Okay.
As a parent, they find it helpful that the superintendent would share how the ESSER dollars are being allocated. From Nadia Mendez.
Okay, that's kind of more of a question than a comment. But that it may be something that in our maybe a future meeting that we have, that we could be able to give potentially an update in relationship to how our ESSER dollars are being administered and how that happens. And again, letting them know that there are 3 different sets of ESSER dollars that we're talking about. Any further questions, Ms. Zielinski, that you see?
No, that's it. I think we can move on.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let's move on now to our consent agenda. Approval of our minutes, our vouchers, and our school safety drills. So would someone like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Dr. Beadle, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda, including the minutes of the December 7th, 2021 special board meeting, the minutes of the December 14th, 2021 regular board meeting, the January 25th, 2022 school safety drill update, and the schedule of voucher payments via check, ACH, and wire transfers in the amount of $822,641.15 in the general checking account and the food service account, including funds 10, 21, 27, 39, 47, 49, 50, 72, and 80.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Ashley. A motion has been made. Do we have a second, please?
I will second Dr. Beadle.
Thank you very much, Ms. Peterson. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor with raised hand and or aye. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ms. Smith, can't see or hear. Okay, I think she stepped away. So motion carries 6-0. And yeah, 6-0. All right, thank you very much. Let's go on to item number C, our school safety drill update. Ms. Smyska.
Good evening, Board of Education and community members. I hope everyone can hear me okay. My apologies for not turning on my camera. I'm on a bus with the 13 synchronized ice skaters and their parents. We're heading to a competition, so you wouldn't be able to see me anyway. It's too dark. So with that being said, everyone has received the memo that I wrote at our work session 2 weeks ago regarding moving towards having the safety drills on the consent agenda. And we did just approve that. So that was all I really was asking for us to do to get in compliance. And moving forward, we will be approving those on a monthly basis. But if there are any questions that I can answer at this time, I'm happy to do so.
Board members, any questions for Jody in relationship to our school safety drill and that update? All right, hearing and seeing none. Would someone like to, oh no, there is no motion on that. I'm so sorry. All right, well, thank you so much for that update, Jody. All right, let's go on to item number 5, items for discussion, consideration, and possible board action. Mr. Clement.
Good evening, members of the board. As Ms. Pitchford mentioned in her report, we have a slew of new hires, specifically at the middle school this evening. The names are in front of you. We have Daniel Grant joining us as a special education teacher, Allison Moore as a music teacher, David Leroy as a teacher, Carrie Wagner as a special education teacher, and Maxwell Havlick as a teacher. And then as part of our search for a new data and assessment coordinator, the district did select an internal candidate, Mr. Andrew Richter, who's currently a high school social studies teacher. And so we'll be approving his new contract, new position tonight, but he will remain in his current position until we fill his teaching position. So he's aware of that, and as long as it takes to get to that position, and then he will be able to move into that data and assessment coordinating position full-time.
All right, thank you very much. All right. All right, would someone like to make a motion for the hiring of Daniel Grant?
Dr. Beto, I'd like to make a motion to approve the hiring of Daniel Grant as a middle school special education teacher for the 2021-2022 school year.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Peterson. A motion has been made. Do we have a second?
I will second, Dr. Beto.
Thank you very much, Ms. Dick. Motion has been made and seconded. Any conversation or discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor with raised hand and or aye. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, motion carries unanimously, 7-0. We welcome Mr. Grant. All right, would someone like to make a motion of the hiring of Allison Moore?
Dr. Beto, I'd like to make a motion to approve the hiring of Allison Moore as a middle school music teacher for the 2021-2022 school year.
Thank you very much, Anita. A motion has been made. Do we have a second?
Dr. Beetle, I'll second.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ashley. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor with raised hand and or aye. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, motion carries unanimously. All right, we welcome Allison on board. All right, would someone like to make a motion to approve the hiring of Dava Leroy?
I would like to make a motion to approve the hiring of David Leroy as a middle school teacher for the 2021-2022 school year.
Thank you very much, Nicole. Motion has been made. Do we have a second?
I will second, Dr. Beto.
Thank you very much, Anita. All right, a motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor with raised hand and or aye. All right, motion carries unanimously. We welcome Dava on board as a middle school teacher. All right, would someone like to make a motion for the hiring of Carrie Wagner?
I would like to make a motion to approve the hiring of Carrie Wagner as a middle school special education teacher for the 2021-2022 school year.
All right, thank you very much, Nicole. A motion has been made. Do we have a second?
I will second.
Thank you very much, Ms. Robinson. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all with raised hand and or aye. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right. Motion carries unanimously 7-0. We welcome Carrie on board. All right. Would someone like to make a motion for the hiring of Maxwell Havlick?
Yes, Dr. Beadle, this is Lisa. I'll make a motion to approve the hiring of Maxwell Havlick as a middle school teacher for the 2021-22 school year.
Thank you very much, Ms. Zelinski. Motion has been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second Dr. Beadle.
Thank you very much, Nicole. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor with raised hand and or aye. 6 and 7. All right, motion carries unanimously 7-0. And last, would someone like to make a motion to approve the hiring of Andrew Richter?
Yes, this is Lisa. I'll make a motion to approve the hiring of Andrew Richter as the district data assessment coordinator for the 2021-2022 school year.
All right, thank you very much, Lisa. Motion has been made. Do we have a second?
I will second Dr. Beadle.
Thank you very much, Ms. Peterson. Motion has been made and seconded. Do we have any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor with raised hand and or aye. All right, motion carries unanimously 7-0. We'd like to welcome Daniel, Allison, Dava, Carrie, Maxwell, and Andrew to the Brown Deer team. Thank you so much for joining our family, or continuing to stay with our family as well too, for Andrew. All right, let's go on to Mr. Clement, resignations.
Yes, we have 2 resignations tonight. Sometimes as fast as they come, that's as fast as they go. Unfortunately, we have to offer the resignation of Migdalia Dibro tonight. She was a Spanish teacher that the board hired at the last meeting. She did not start yet, did not sign a contract, but because the board approved a contract, I want to make sure the board accepts the resignation as well. And then another staff member, Neil Dullinger, at the high school, submitted his resignation.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Clement. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the resignation of Ms. Dibro?
I would like to make a motion to approve the resignation of Migdalia Dibro as a middle school Spanish teacher effective January 22nd, 2022.
Thank you very much, Ms. Robinson. Motion has been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second Dr. Beadle.
Thank you very much, Nicole. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor with raised hand and or aye. Motion carries unanimously 7-0. And would someone like to make the motion to approve the resignation of Neil Dullinger?
I would also like to make the motion to approve the resignation of Neil Dullinger as high school teacher effective January 21st, 2022.
All right, thank you very much, Dorothea. Do we have a second?
I will second Dr. Beadle.
Thank you very much, Ms. Peterson. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor with raised hand and or aye. All right, motion carries unanimously 7-0. We wish Migdalia and Neil good luck in their future endeavors. And as we always say, once a Falcon, always a Falcon. All right, let's go on to item number C, retirements. Mr. Clement.
We do not have any retirements this evening, but we are in the process of having conversations with several staff members. I'll probably be bringing a name or two to you next time. Just want to let you know.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Clement. All right, let's go on to item number D, approval of the general education special ed open enrollment seats. Mr. Clement.
Yes, this is a continuation of a conversation we had 2 weeks ago. The memo is unchanged, but just updated, looking for action this evening that based on the factors outlined and the significant increase in just resident students that we experienced this year, the administration is recommending 3 things. Just the approval of 0 regular education open enrollment seats across all grade levels for the 2022-23 school year. The approval of 0 special education and open enrollment seats across all special education programs for the 22-23 school year. And then just to make it easier on our staff, because of just to make sure that everyone is clear that we're not going to be having a waiting list this year. Otherwise, we'd be maintaining it and with no possibility of having open seats. So just clarification that the district will not be maintaining waiting lists for the 2022-23 school year based on the fact that there will be 0 available seats.
Mr. Clement, I have a question for you. So wouldn't the last motion that you were talking about, wouldn't that be able to cover the other 2 as well? Or would that all be all 3 separate? We'd be looking at 3 separate motions.
There are 3 separate motions, and we're being extra cautious on the waiting list one, just to clarify so that there's no question that we are, when people do apply, we'll be sending them the notice that there are no seats available, but not maintaining, waiting lists going forward. So.
Okay, all right. And then this in no way does anything to students that are currently under our open enrollment, correct?
Right. Yeah. Everyone who's in the open enrollment program can continue next year should they choose to.
All right. Sounds good. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the 0 regular education open enrollment?
Dr. Beto, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 0 regular education open enrollment seats across all grade levels for the 2022-2023 school year.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Smith. Motion has been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second Dr. Beto.
Thank you very much, Ms. Peterson. Motion has been made and seconded. All right, any discussion? All in favor with raised hand and/or aye? All right, motion carries unanimously 7-0. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the 0 in special education open enrollment?
I'd like to make a motion to approve 0 special education open enrollment seats across all special education programs for the 2022-2023 school year.
All right, thank you very much, Stacy. A motion has been made. Do we have a second?
Dr. Beetle, I'll second.
Thank you very much, Felita. A motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor with raised hand and/or aye? All right, motion carries unanimously 7-0. And then lastly, would someone like to make a motion to approve the District of Brown Deer will not maintain an open enrollment waiting list?
I'd like to make a motion to approve that the school district of Brown Deer will not maintain an open enrollment waiting list for the 2022-2023 school year based on 0 available seats.
All right, thank you very much, Stacy. Motion has been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second Dr. Beetle.
All right, Ms. Robinson, thank you very much. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor with raised hand and/or aye? All right, motion carries unanimously 7-0. All right, let's go on to our item number 6, our board reports, our SWSA and legislative update. Ms. Ashley. I think you're on mute, Felita.
I think I need a sign that says, take yourself off mute. I feel like in this virtual realm, I'm always on mute. But so with that said, I did attend the SWSA meeting on January 11th, where we got, we've been getting pretty regular reports from representatives at Children's Hospital. And the reports are related to COVID. And again, those specialists and doctors are recommending that we continue to engage in schools mitigation protocols to keep our learning community safe. One of the other things that came out of their report was that school officials are being asked to pay attention to, interruptions in school mental and behavioral health, kind of concerns, sick family members and caregivers, only because this continues to impact our students as well and could ultimately impact the outcomes in the classroom. So school administrators are being just asked to be paying attention. And I think we do a good job of doing that. In addition to that, we got presentations from guest speakers who were legislators in the state legislature. In terms of legislative issues, there are a number of bills that are pending, too many to mention. The outcomes have not been determined as it is moving through the assembly and then heading to the Senate. And, you know, with the end of the legislature session soon, many of those outcomes will probably not, we won't learn about them until February or March. Finally, then there was some information related to the Sr3 Funds. It is now in a passive review. And so that committee is meeting on February 2nd to take that matter up. And other important information I will cover in my report with WASB. And I think that about does it for my report for the SWSA updates.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Ashley. All right, and can we now, let's go to our WASB update. Ms. Ashley?
So as Dr. Kelsey Brown mentioned earlier last week, we attended the State Education Convention that was held January 19th through the 21st. Lots of good workshops, a ton of wonderful sessions, too many to mention here tonight. I was and had the opportunity to serve as the district's delegate. There were only 10 resolutions considered by the Assembly. All of the resolutions that were proposed were passed. A couple of the proposals or the proposed resolutions that were generated, that generated considerable lengthy discussion included funding on children with disabilities, which passed, and the curriculum and professional training on Asian American and Pacific Islanders. All in all, I thought the experience for the first time as a first-time attender at that convention was wonderful. And that is pretty much all that I have for my report for WASB.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Ashley. Ms. Robinson, the Education Foundation report.
For the foundation, just kind of going through business as usual for these last few months and doing more planning for the year. One thing that I will mention is that we did approve to have 2 of our DECA students as a part of the foundation board. Those will be non-voting positions for those students, but we are very hopeful that they will gain good knowledge as far as participating on a professional board, as well as to share some of their ideas with how we can move our efforts forward in the coming year. And that's it.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Robinson. And can we, Ms. Peterson, can you talk to us about our Parks and Recreation report?
Certainly. There was no meeting in January, and so there's not a whole lot to report. The one thing that I did learn is that they have, the village has hired a new park and rec director. That person is set to start on February 7th. We do have our meeting scheduled for February 2nd. I'm not real sure if she will be, it is a she will be at that meeting at that time. But outside of that, that's all that I have to report, and we should hear and see more after that February 2nd meeting.
All right, thank you very much, Anita. All right, let's all right, let's go on to item number 7, which is our board planning calendar. And January 28th, there's no school for Professional Learning Day. February 2nd is the board symposium at Wauwatosa West High School at 6 p.m. February 8th will be our special board meeting here in our Commons area at 6 p.m. February 9th is our Brown Deer Athletic Booster Club meeting in the middle high school North Commons at 6:30. February 11th, there's no school for Professional Learning Day. Okay, let's cross off this February 12th. February 16th, February 16th, parent-teacher conferences in person from 4 to 8. And then on February 17th, parent-teacher conferences will be virtual from 4 to 8. So again, parents, let me repeat that again. February 16th, parent-teacher conferences are in person from 4 to 8 p.m. And on February 17th, parent-teacher conferences are virtual from 4 to 8 p.m. February 18th, there will be no school. February 22nd will be our regular board meeting in the middle school commons area at 6 p.m. All right, with that being said, would someone like to make a motion to go into closed session?
Dr. Beadle, I make a motion and a roll call vote to move into closed session to discuss administrator contracts pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 19.85, parent 1, parent C.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Ashley. Do we have a second?
I'll second Dr. Beal.
All right, thank you very much, Nicole. Motion has been made and seconded. Oh, I'm sorry, in the wrong spot. All right. All right, Ms. Robinson, roll call.
Beto,
Aye.
Daniels Ashley,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Robinson, aye. Smith,
Aye.
Zick, aye. And Zelinski.
Aye.
All right, so we will enter into closed session now at 7:11.
All right, thank you very much. We're now going to closed session. For those that will be leaving, thank you very much for attending our board meeting. Those that you're staying, we will go back into open session when we are complete. Make sure that you mute and stop the video. Because we will have to come back in. Everybody mute and turn off the video. Go on. All right, we are back in open session at 8:14 p.m. Would someone like to make a motion for the administrator employment agreement for Dr. Kelsey Brown?
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to actually table the approval of the administrator employment agreement for Dr. Monica Kelsey Brown until our next board meeting.
All right, thank you very much. A motion has been made to table. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Ashley. All right, any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all would raise hand, all in favor would raise hand and or aye. All right, motion carries 7-0 to table the administrative contract for Dr. Kelsey Brown. All right, would someone like to make a motion for the administrator employment agreement for Dr. Garrison?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the administrator employment agreement for Dr. Willie E. Garrison II, beginning July 1, 2022, and ending on June 30, 2024, as revised.
As revised. Thank you very much. A motion has been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Was that Nicole? Yes. All right, thank you very much. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor with raised hand and or aye. And 7, motion carries unanimously, 7-0. All right, would someone like to make a motion for the administrator employment agreement for Mr. Kevin Clement? Would someone like to make a motion for the employment agreement for Mr. Kevin Clement?
I will make the motion to approve. I'm sorry, let me read it exactly. Approve administrator employment agreement for Mr. Kevin Clement beginning July 1st, 2022 and ending June 30th, 2024 as presented.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Robinson. Motion has been made. Do we have a second?
I second, Dr. Beto.
Thank you very much, Ms. Peterson. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor with raised hand and or aye. All right, motion carries unanimously, 7-0. And would someone like to make a motion for the employment agreement for Jason Love?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the administrator employment agreement for Jason Love beginning July 1st, 2022 and ending on June 30th, 2024 as presented.
Thank you very much, Ms. Smith. Motion has been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second again, Dr. Beto.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ashley. Motion has, Ms. Peterson, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, raise hand and aye. All right, motion carries unanimously, 7-0. All right, would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn, Dr. Beto.
Thank you very much, Ms. Peterson. Motion has been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Now everybody can want a second. All right, so Ms. Ashley, I think you were first. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor with raised hand and or aye. All right, motion carries unanimously, 7-0, and we adjourn our school board meeting at 8:18 p.m. Thank you very much for attending our school board meeting from the District of Brown Deer. Stay warm, stay safe. God bless.